What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be going over the week one predictions from at least mine. Um, I'm not going to be doing points scored or anything like that just because I don't want to. And this isn't an actual poll where I'm competing with anyone. I'm just giving my thoughts. So, I just pulled this up. That way, you guys can clearly see the week one schedule. Um, And also, some of them I may go into more than others. Some of them I may just say who I think is going to win. So let's just get straight into this. Green Bay and Chicago, which is actually tonight because I'm recording this on Thursday. Hopefully, I can get this up by then. I'm probably going to be going with Chicago. I just think with their defense and actually overall, I just think their team is better. I didn't really like Green Bay's offseason moves. I thought their draft was pretty mediocre, to be honest. They did get some good players. I love Darnell Savage, but I don't think it's enough. But I just think it's going to end up being Chicago. But to be fair, as long as Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers, they always have a shot in my eyes. But I do think Chicago wins this game. Moving on to Titans at Cleveland. I'm probably going to go with the Browns here, at home especially. I'm just not scared of anything the Titans have, to be honest with you. I think that Cleveland, although a very young and somewhat immature team, but so is Tennessee. I just think they have too many pieces for Tennessee to contend with. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't really. Unless Cleveland just blows it for themselves, which is always a possibility with them, I don't see a real way for them to lose. Moving on to Baltimore versus the Dolphins. As much as it pains me being a Dolphins fan, I have to go with the Ravens. And honestly, this could be a slaughter. But Baltimore might just put 300 points up on the Dolphins. Just kidding, but yeah, Miami just doesn't have anything to contend with. I mean, we might be able to do something to their offense if we can keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. But even if we do that, there's nothing we can really do on offense to actually put up points. So I don't think Miami has much of a chance in this game. I'm going to be honest. Atlanta versus Minnesota. Now, this one is a little bit harder for me. I think this is a little bit of a closer matchup. And these are both teams that I'm kind of waiting to see what they're going to do. But I think I am going to go with the Vikings in Minnesota. I'm hoping that home field advantage gives them, an advantage. And also, I think Minnesota improved their offensive line a little bit. They drafted Garrett Bradbury in the first round, and I think he's a very good center in my eyes. He could do with getting a little bit stronger, but his technique is pretty flawless. But yeah, I think it will be a close matchup, though. I could definitely see Atlanta pulling this one off, but if I had to choose, I'm going to go with the Vikings. Buffalo versus the Jets. This one's also kind of tough in my eyes. I think they're kind of evenly matched. I'm going to be honest with you. I think I'm going to go with Buffalo, to be honest, but I could see this going either way. I think they're pretty well balanced. You know what? No, actually, I'm changing. I'm going to go with the Jets. I just think that the Jets' offense is going to have a little bit more to them than the Bills. I think between Le'Veon Bell, who I think will have a pretty good year, Sam Darnold, and even Robbie Anderson. I think Robbie Anderson's actually going to have a pretty good year this year as well. So, yeah. Redskins versus the Eagles. Eagles all the way. I think the Redskins are going to kind of suck this year. They don't have a whole lot in place. They did draft pretty well, I'll be honest. But I just don't think they're there right now, and I think Philly is just a better team overall. So I think it's Philly. The Rams versus the Panthers. I'm going with the Rams. I don't think anyone is too terribly surprised by that. I don't even know if Cam Newton is playing, and if he is, I don't know how well he's going to play because he's not totally healthy. And even with a healthy Cam Newton, I still think the Rams take this. I just think they have a little bit too much for Carolina. But I do think Carolina could surprise some teams this year. I just don't think the Rams are one of them. So it is what it is. Kansas City versus Jacksonville. I'm going with Kansas City. Again, I don't think too many people are surprised. I think that Chiefs offense is just going to be a little bit too much. Jacksonville's defense is good, but I still think Kansas City is going to run through them. But Jacksonville does have a chance, possibly. But I just think that Jacksonville's offense is pretty terrible, to be honest. Even still, I mean, they've vamped it up a little bit, but their offensive line is still atrocious in my eyes. And their receiving core is not great either. And you really can't trust Leonard Fournette to stay healthy or to be consistent. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Now, the Colts and Chargers, this game would have been a lot harder had Andrew Luck not retired on us. But I probably still would have picked the Chargers in the end. So without Andrew Luck, I am definitely picking the Chargers. Indy still has a shot. Because, I mean, they do have some good playmakers, and Jacoby Brissett definitely isn't terrible, but I just think the Chargers are going to be a little bit too much for them. And I think if they do become a decent team this year, it's probably going to be later in the season. I think they're going to have to get some momentum going with Jacoby Brissett before they make any decent moves. Let's move on. Cincinnati versus Seattle. I'm going with Seattle. I think... besides the Dolphins, the Bengals might be the worst team in the NFL. I just think Seattle has a little bit too much for Cincinnati. Honestly, Russell Wilson by himself is a little bit too much for Cincinnati. But Seattle should demolish them, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Giants and Cowboys. I'm going Dallas, especially in Dallas. Zeke just paid his just got paid, so he'll probably be there week 1. And honestly, even if he wasn't, even if it was Tony Pollard starting, I'd probably still be picking Dallas. I just think the Giants don't have enough to threaten them. They don't really have anything to really move against that defense, to be honest. So I think Dallas probably stomps the Giants. Detroit versus Arizona is kind of tough because similar to Atlanta and Minnesota, I honestly don't know what to expect with them. I don't expect either team to be very good this year, but probably going to go with Detroit. But Arizona could easily win this one. I'm just not sold on Kyler Murray, especially this year, and he doesn't have a whole lot around them. The offensive line is still really, really bad, and he's used to playing with the best offensive line in college football. I mean, literally every single one of the starters on the offensive line has been drafted this year. So, yeah. San Francisco versus Tampa. Another kind of tough one. Damn, I don't know. This one's kind of close because I'm not really sure about... This is another one where I'm not really sure about either team. My gut is actually going to go with Tampa. I just don't think the 49ers have a whole lot to offer, and I'm not totally sold on Jimmy Garoppolo. He's going to have to prove a little bit more to me because, I mean, he only started a few games back when he actually got a chance to play. He won them, but still, you're going to have to prove a little bit more to me that you can win games matter and as a full-time starter. This game could go either way, though. I just think that Tampa has a little bit more around them than San Francisco does. But to be fair, I am curious to see what Nick Bosa does. I want to follow him very closely. Same thing with Quinnen Williams over with the Jets. I forgot to mention that earlier. Pittsburgh against New England. I'm going with New England. I just don't think that Pittsburgh has enough to really contend with them, really. I think, especially in New England, I think Patriots are going to probably wreck them. But I will say, with Ben Roethlisberger there, they do have a chance. They always have a chance with Ben, but not really. I mean, I definitely think New England's probably going to take that. Moving on to Monday, Houston versus the Saints. I'm going to go with the Saints, but I could see Houston winning this potentially, but I just think the Saints have just a little bit too much for Houston to contend with. And I know they traded for Laramie Tunzel, but the rest of that offensive line is still pretty trash, and I think that's going to be a kind of a problem. I think New Orleans' pass rush is going to be a little bit too much. And, yeah, and I think they're going to be able to put up more points than them, too. So, I mean, it is what it is. Denver versus Oakland. Bad against bad. Ugh. This kind of feels like Detroit versus Arizona. It's in Oakland. Dude, I don't know. I don't even know what this one. They're both kind of trash. It's Joe Flacco, though. I'm going to go with Denver. This one is one of the ones I'm less sure about. It's just that Oakland has had so much controversy. I'm just worried about that being a distraction to them going into this game. And I think Denver's defense is quite a bit better, too. I think Oakland's defense is on the way back up, but it's still got a long way to go. Joe Flacco also might ruin it for the Broncos, to be fair. I could see this game. This is another one where I could see it going either way. But, yeah, anyway. So just a quick reminder. I'm just going to quickly go down the list again. I'm going with Chicago, Cleveland, Baltimore, Minnesota, Buffalo, Philly, the Rams, Kansas City, the Chargers, the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Lions, the Bucks, the Patriots, the Saints, and the Broncos. So, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this every week. I hope to, but I at least wanted to do it for week 1. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, I would appreciate you hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.